What's up, Hippo lovers? WTF happened in August 2023. My first ever WTF episode with dark themed. So I got the feedback in the past, nearly it's too much of a switch between the black background and the white Liquipedia. Give me feedback if you like it. I'm personally a big fan of light mode, but I'll listen to you. And we're jumping directly into it. TCI, the Champions Invitational, a tournament organized by Hera himself, and all the winners of 2022 S-tier tournaments, excluding Deathmatch World Cup, were invited to battle it out. And we are looking at 5 players: Hera, the Viper, Yo, Tedo, and Winchester, and they all faced each other in a round-robin system, best of 21. And in the end, you can see Hera winning all 4 of the sets. Viper, Yo, Tedo all going 2-2, so pretty close between all of them. Winchester 0-4, but with some close sets in there: 11-8, 11-3, but also 11-7, 11-6. And we had some really close ones, notably, obviously, Hera versus Viper with a nice back and forth, as you can see down here. Sadly, a disappointing last game. Then Tedo leading, I think, 10-7 and losing 4 games in a row. And we also had Viper Tedo going to a decider. So some really good sets in there, and people really enjoyed it. It was full of content between the best players in the world. Sadly, it felt like a bit like Leary was missing to have like the top, like he simply feels like he belongs in a top 5 tournament, but didn't win an S-tier tournament. And that was the criteria for the invitation here. And also people wanted something like special at the end, something like a final. Also that Hera Viper was kind of one of the earlier sets, took a bit of the excitement out, because most people felt like, okay, after Hera beat the Viper, it's very likely that he will win the whole thing. And yeah, he played really, really well, as some really good games included in that one, and can highly recommend rewatching some of those games. Which moves us forward to Clash of Empires, the tournament that I previously called the Crypto Tournament, because it is sponsored by a crypto site, and initially wanted to pay out the money in crypto as well, but now changed it to dollar prices, and that's why it got moved up in the ranks for Liquipedia as well. And we had a crazy set here as well, including the Viper leading 2-0 and then losing 3-2 to Doubt. Doubt now moving through in the group, Leary as well, Hera, Yo on the other side going through. And tomorrow or today will be the conclusion of the group stage, and then we're going into the top 8. The main question actually still sadly remains about the sponsor. If you want to cast this, you have to show some adverts, and they are kind of questionable. If I can quote, it was online gaming app designed for kids, quote end. And so Twitch chat is a lot like concerned about this, and we have to like decide, okay, do we only want to see like clean sponsors? Are we happy that new sponsors are coming into the scene? I have not heard of anyone like, oh, boycotting this tournament. And yeah, but certainly a discussion to be had, like where do we draw the line? I know that Microsoft, for example, draws a clear line. Okay, there are some companies we work with, some companies we don't work with. I'll let you decide. And I certainly don't see such a big problem, but apparently I didn't dive deep enough into it to go into any direction of a boycott. Next tournament that we are covering will be T90's Titans League, the closest thing that we have in the Age of Empires universe when it comes to having like a real league format. And right now the second division is running the Gold League, Platinum League, starting next week, and we had 5 weeks of battle, and you see some big names there that got demoted last season. And that's why people like Kapoch, Nikov are still in here. Winchester, after winning season 1, got demoted in season 2. And even someone like Cito, not likely to make it back to Platinum, needs to 3-0 Kingston to go through. MBL with a pretty clean performance. And yeah, this is kind of for the B tier or like kind of A tier players if you look at the grand scale, and people having a nice showing there and a lot of fun, got a lot of coverage. Nearly sadly missing out the playoffs to make it to Platinum. And now we're getting into the non-esport stuff. The Viper made a video kind of giving feedback, kind of complaining about how he felt the map pool is very repetitive and he feels like he's playing 99%. Then he goes through the 99% Arabia. Then he goes through maps here as well and says, yeah, look at all those great maps in TCI, and then goes through, yeah, how unhappy he is. And actually developers listened, and the Viper will be deciding the next map pool. Basically, they gave him a list out to choose out of, and he will be the one selecting out of those. Which is interesting. First of all, great that the developers are so connected with the scene and listen to one of the biggest figures, right? It is interesting though, right? We had votes and we had results that not everyone made happy, but that's kind of democracy as well, right? And now we are going into more like a, let's call it dictatorship, monarchy, like elected dictatorship, whatever. Obviously, the Viper might be the best guy to go in there, right? I think he will put a lot of thought into it, wants to be very fair in this regard. And I think it's a nice sign to see, okay, we hand it to you. I think the approach should have been long-term. The approach should be very different when it comes to map pool. I think we should have more maps, more vetoes, and I think just give us vetoes n-1. And if you only want to play one map, then only play one map. Give a warning. By the way, you only want to play a freaking clearing through 3 Empire Wars. The queue time might be very long for you. But okay, if I only want to play this, then give it to me. Or give us ranked lobbies that are rated, right? That could be approaches. Also, yeah, the big issue for me with the map pool is simply we are ignoring great tournament maps, and also Viper won't have the offer to choose between those. He will only have like in-game maps to choose from. But very interesting approach, and interesting that, yeah, Forgotten Empires, Age of Empires team was open to that. Now we are having something really interesting happening, which I'm a bit surprised that it wasn't more of a topic overall. Hera hit 100,000 subscribers on his YouTube and made basically a run through his last years, his big successes, his endeavors to other games, and had a short mention as well that he got a contract offer from Facebook.
I got offered 1.4 million over 2 years.
This is major money, obviously. And he discusses it a bit, also saying, okay, 1.4 million, let's reduce taxes, like 600K gone or something in that ballpark. And it's not really setting you up for life. He wanted to build a community. Obviously, like in hindsight, financially, a short-term bad decision. But I also personally think that not every decision in life should be motivated by money, right? And I know how tough it can be to stream for a small community, have not a lot of chat of interaction, and do something that feels not that great, right? And he's having fun streaming. He is enjoying his grind there. So I can understand the decision just to be happy in life. But 1.4 million, obviously very big numbers, a very big number. Now you can heavily assume that Viper and T90 got deals at least as good, if not better, to put into perspective. And yeah, that was obviously very interesting because a lot of speculations were around about around the numbers and contract offers. Then that puts us continuing with money and full-time streaming Mihai. I would say roughly like skill-wise number 20, 25, 30 in the world, was for a long time considered to be a potential top 10 player, and a full-time or semi-full-time streamer right now. He made all his earnings public over the last year, and as you can see, this basically blue background line is the overall earnings he has, or like before his expenses. This is the line at the bottom here. And you can see that in the end, he roughly makes $400 a month. And therefore basically says, okay, I want to get to $1,000 by the end of the year, or I will have to rethink my approach, trying to go full-time for Age of Empires. And really interesting watch there, and gives you a bit behind the scenes. So it is rough, right? He was a big grinder. Let me see, hours streamed easily above 100, and hours then played in practice might be the same number preparing for tournaments. But he didn't have the breakthrough performance that he felt like his fans wanted, he wanted, and therefore maybe not looking too great to see Mihai still in the scene. Obviously, pretty active streamer in Age of Empires. And yeah, obviously lots of financial talks in those times, where people like wanted to go full time, and now rethinking their choices. Which brings us to more happy matters for at least MBL and Dave. Clip of the month material, and sadly, it features me on the wrong side. I think I have to remove my cam here because we will have someone being in there. I'm playing against MBL, cast by T90.
Nice dodge there from Nilly. MBL's kind of evened up the vill count. Nilly just killed 3 of his own villagers. There's no world in which MBL is not laughing right now. Nilly is gonna kill me for doing this.
The pure evil in his laugh is so mean as well. And then we have one Dave clip.
Meaning he probably went.
Please
for
don't run out of deer.
taunt.
Please don't run out of deer. Please don't run out of deer. Please don't run out of deer. Damn, get out of the way, fish and chips. Oh, Tristan!
Let's go. I should have looked.
Look at how many bodies. 3 more showed up at the very end.
Let's go.
It's also crazy how much Tristan is enjoying it together with Dave, although T90 even said he was not watching at that moment. But yeah, great scenes there, and that one against MBL hurt. It hurt during the game, and after seeing that, well, it hurt a bit less, right? I'm an entertainer. Yeah, look ahead. What's happening next month? Basically, it's T90's Titans League. We are going into the Platinum phase. Obviously, Clash of Empires is going to continue as well. We have some smaller tournaments as well. But I think T90's Titans League will be the main story. Obviously, lots of coverage. 4 groups, 3 games, 12 games per week with the very best players in the world. So will be very interesting there. And I think that's it from me. Goodbye, Hippo lovers.